The Shadow of the White Moonlight. Chapter 1 The Contract of Indifference and Overlord. Shwechenxi never thought that her appearance would become the beginning of a ridiculous drama. One night, my phone suddenly rang, and it was an unfamiliar number. Shwechenxi, I am Ling Jinjian. The cold voice came over the phone, with an unquestionable breath. Ling Jinjian is a well-known domineering president in the city. He claimed that he had been looking for someone, his white moonlight, and she looked exactly like that woman. Without thinking much about it, Shwechenxi was inexplicably invited to Ling Jinjian's villa. It is deserted and luxurious, but there is no trace of temperature. Ling Jinjian didn't sleep, only quietly looked at her face in the dead of night, as if it could heal the incurable crack in his heart. Chapter 2 People and Shadows in the Mirror. The days passed in indifference and loneliness. Shwechenxi was used to Ling Jinjian's hot and cold. He didn't say anything about love, but he always looked at her very deeply when she was inadvertent. There are no words in this relationship, only silent companionship. Ling Jinjian always said that he loved the woman who had long disappeared, not Shwechenxi in front of him. However, gradually, Shwechenxi felt like a mirror reflecting all his softness and pain. Chapter 3 The Return of the White Moonlight. The storm is coming, and Bai Yueguang is finally back. That day, Ling Jinjian took her into the villa and transferred the property rights to Shwechenxi neatly, with a cold tone. These are the breakup fees for you, millions, enough for you to live a better life. Shwechenxi was stunned in place, his heart like a knife. She thought she was just a substitute, and the white moonlight was the only light. And Ling Jinjian's indifference pushed her into endless darkness. Chapter 4 Rebirth from the Ashes. With the breakup fee, Shwechenxi did not choose to escape. She decided to leave the cold villa and start over. She founded her own brand and used wisdom and hard work to prove that she was not just the shadow that was replaced. Fate allowed her to be reborn from the ashes and become the sun that truly belonged to her. Chapter 5 The Awakening of the Overlord. As time passed, Ling Jinjian found that what he had lost was never replaced. He recalled that night, and every time he stared at Shwechenxi's face, there was an indescribable pain in his heart. He suddenly understood that what he really loved was not the unattainable white moonlight, but the warm and strong woman in front of him. Chapter 6 Reunion and Reversal. On a chance business occasion, Shwechenxi and Ling Jinjian met again. The two looked at each other, and the entanglements and pains of the past emerged like a flood. Ling Jinjian did not hide his inner regret, and Shwechenxi was no longer the passive shadow. She smiled and said coldly, I'm no longer your substitute. This time, the two stood at an equal starting point and launched a true love game that belonged to them. Chapter 7 The Light Beyond the Moonlight. The story advances in ambiguity and challenge. Ling Jinjian strives to make up for the past alienation with actions, and Shwechenxi responds with strength and gentleness. Together, they break the shackles of fate and make each other truly belong. Under the moonlight, the shadows of the two finally intertwined into a dazzling light. Chapter 8 The night rain is affectionate, and the iceberg is melting. The raindrops knocked on the floor-to-ceiling windows of Ling Jinjian's cold villa, as if playing a low movement for his restless mood. Since the day of the breakup, he has hardly really let go of Shwechenxi. That night, he finally mustered up the courage to embark on the path that had confused and pained him, to see her again. Shwechenxi is working overtime in her brand studio, and her resolute back is hidden on the rainy night outside the window. Suddenly, there was a gentle knock on the door, and a familiar and low voice came into my ears. Chenxi, can you let me in? She looked up and saw Ling Jinjian. Her clothes were soaked, but there was a rare tenderness in her eyes. The two looked at each other speechlessly, and time seemed to freeze. The indifferent overlord like an iceberg showed his sincerity in front of her for the first time. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 9 Gradually opening up, emotions are intertwined. In the days that followed, Ling Jinjian was no longer the frosty stranger. He began to appear frequently in Xue Chenxi's life, silently guarding her and paying attention to every detail of her. Xue Chenxi also began to re-examine the man who had broken her heart. She found that behind that coldness, there was actually a deep fear and uneasiness. In a late-night conversation, Ling Jinjian confessed. I'm afraid of losing you, I'm afraid I'll never find someone like her again. Xue Chenxi smiled, tears welling up in his eyes. I'm not her, I'm me. But I am willing to face the future with you. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 10 The turmoil has risen again, and there are many tests. Just as the relationship between the two gradually warmed up, Ling Jinjian's business empire encountered an unprecedented crisis. The fierce attacks from international competitors made him exhausted. At the same time, the real white Moonlight also returned with a mysterious purpose, and her identity and motives began to become confusing. This series of turmoil tested the budding relationship and trust between the two. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 11 Light and shadow intertwine, the truth is revealed. As the investigation deepened, Xue Chenxi accidentally discovered the secret behind Bai Yueguang. She did not simply come back to regain her love, but was used by others in an attempt to destroy Ling Jinjian's enterprise. Faced with this shocking truth, the two joined hands to fight against internal and external enemies. After many hardships, Ling Jinjian finally got rid of the shadow of Bai Yueguang and focused on the person in front of him who really guarded him. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 12 The Light of New Life, the future is promising. After some turmoil, Ling Jinjian and Xue Chenxi not only found their true belonging in love, but also worked hard in their careers and ushered in a new spring. In the sun-drenched villa garden, they made a promise to move forward side by side no matter how difficult the future is. It is no longer the shadow of the white Moonlight, but belongs to the brilliant chapter written by the two together. Chapter 13 The knot in the heart is untied and the ice melts. The spring breeze was warm, and the relationship between Xue Chenxi and Ling Jinjian gradually stabilized. However, the shadows of the past still resurface from time to time. The knot that Ling Jinjian has been hiding turned out to be the unsatisfactory past. On this day, he finally opened his heart to Xue Chenxi and told him about his acquaintance, love, and separation from Bai Yueguang. Xue Chenxi listened quietly, without a word of accusation, just a gentle comfort. The two hugged each other, as if the winter ice was melted by the spring sun, and the cold accumulated in their hearts gradually dissipated. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 14 Career joins hands, offensive and defensive alliance. Nourished by love, Xue Chenxi and Ling Jinjian's careers have also entered a new stage. The two joined hands to establish a joint venture to perfectly combine each other's strengths. Xue Chenxi has made the brand expand rapidly with her unique market vision and innovative concepts. Ling Jinjian relies on huge resources and stable management to help enterprises become invincible. The two have made a name for themselves in the business world, and they have a more tacit understanding in life, forming an invincible offensive and defensive alliance. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 15 Unexpected Coming, Life Test. Just when everything seemed perfect, an accident broke the peace between the two. Xue Chenxi was seriously injured in a car accident on a business trip. Ling Jinjian waited in the hospital, sleepless day and night, and for the first time he truly felt the fear of losing her. Xue Chenxi was in a coma, dreaming of the past of the two, and the power of rebirth ignited in his heart. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 16 Miracle wakes up, the miracle of love. A miracle happened. Xue Chenxi woke up from her coma, and the moment she opened her eyes, Ling Jinjian held her hand tightly, tears rolling down. Her road to recovery was long and arduous, but the love between the two became the strongest healing force. Xue Chenxi on the hospital bed told Ling Jinjian, no matter how difficult the future is, I am willing to go with you. This love has overcome all tests. Underscore 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 un. Chapter 17 Return to the ordinary, happiness blooms. After recovering, the two decided to fade out of the turmoil in the mall and turn their focus to family and life. The villa was filled with warm laughter, and the two worked together to raise the next generation. The once indifferent boss has become a gentle and considerate partner. The girl who was once lonely became the mainstay of the family. Their stories, from shadows to sunshine, interpret the truest happiness in life. Underscore 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 un. Finale. Ling Jinjian and Xuechen Xi overcame all the ups and downs together, and finally found each other's deepest support. Their love is no longer the shadow of the white moonlight, but the unique light of the two. In this light, they have walked hand in hand through the years and written the most moving chapter. Underscore 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 un. Postscript. It is a story about finding oneself and true love. On the stage of life, we may become the shadow of others, but only by being brave enough to be ourselves can we shine the brightest light. May every person with a dream find the person who is willing to accompany you through the storm and spend your life with you. The story ends here, and the blessings live on.